Welcome, listeners to Cosmic Radio. You are tuned to the frequency of impossible architecture and fragmented minds. I am Jara tonight. We examine the spaces we inhabit, and what happens when those spaces begin to inhabit us. Humanity's drive to expand into the cosmos has always relied on the principles of logic, engineering, and absolute predictability. We design our vessels, our stations, our colonies as fortresses against the chaotic void. Every corridor, every module, every airlock is meticulously planned, a testament to our control over environment and distance. But what if a space, through some unknown influence, decides to defy those principles? What if a segment of our carefully constructed reality begins to behave not as a static structure, but as a living, malicious entity? Our subject tonight is Outpost Sigma 7, a deep space research station orbiting the gas giant Kepler 18/6. Their mission was routine, atmospheric sampling, gravitational mapping, the mundane hum of scientific endeavor, until 3 months into their deployment, the reports from their primary transit artery, Corridor Gamma 17, began to shift from concern to outright terror. Corridor Gamma 17 was unremarkable. A 300-meter stretch connecting the habitation module to the primary research wing. But then, crew members began reporting anomalies, a sense of déjà vu, the feeling that they had walked the same stretch of plating just moments before, despite clear memories of completing the journey. A faint disembodied whisper, almost indistinguishable, barely audible beneath the drone. The first formal incident was logged by Lieutenant Commander Anya Sharma. She set out for the research wing, a journey she had made hundreds of times. After what felt like an unusually long walk, she found herself back at the entrance to Gamma 17. Facing the habitation module, confused, she turned around and walked again. The same result after her third attempt. Drenched in cold sweat, she pounded on the bulkhead cum panel, demanding to know if the station's internal maps had been rerouted. They had not. The loop was confirmed. Corridor Gamma 17, a finite linear space, had somehow become infinite. Or rather, a perfect, inescapable circle. Engineers were baffled. Sensors showed the physical structure to be sound. The corridor exactly as it should be. Yet any attempt to traverse its length resulted in a return to the starting point. It wasn't just a navigational error. It was a fundamental subversion of spatial reality. But the looping was only the beginning of the nightmare. The true horror emerged with the second wave of reports. Crew members who entered Gamma 17, often out of necessity as it remained the only route to vital sections of the station, began to return. Altered. The drone suddenly changes pitch, becoming slightly discordant. The metallic clanking now sounds like it's coming from inside the listener's head. Junior technician Kalen Vance, after an 8-hour ordeal trying to reach the comms array, emerged disoriented and pale. He insisted he'd seen things inside the corridor. Flickering lights, impossible shadows, and brief, distorted glimpses of what he swore were other versions of himself passing him in the opposite direction. But the most chilling detail was in his eyes. A flicker of something utterly alien. A knowledge that hadn't been there before. He started referring to his colleagues by names they didn't recognize, speaking of events that had never occurred on Sigma 7. Then there was Dr. Aries Thorne. He entered Gamma 17 as a meticulous, reserved xenobotanist. He returned 4 hours later, humming a forgotten folk tune from a long-dead Earth culture, his movements fluid and almost graceful. He was smiling, always smiling, a wide, unnerving smile. And his scientific records, once precise and orderly, were now filled with complex, beautiful diagrams of fractal geometry, interspersed with unsettling poetic verses about the spiral heart of existence and the endless return. The station's medical team discovered no physical changes, no radiation, no neurological damage, yet the personalities, the memories, the very essences of these individuals seemed to have been subtly, terribly rewritten. It was as if Gamma 17 wasn't just looping them through space, but through possibilities. Each return trip brought back a version of themselves that had perhaps experienced a different outcome, a different path, a different self within the impossible dimensions of the corridor. The last log entry from Sigma 7 is from Captain Eva Rostova.
Her voice is strained, filled with a cold resignation. She describes watching her chief engineer, Commander Ben Carter, enter Gamma 17 for the 5th time, determined to find a way through. He promised to return. Stover's final words are stark. He came back, as he always does. But it wasn't Ben, not really. He looked like Ben. He sounded like Ben, but he's happier. Too happy. He remembers things that never happened to us. He's told me about a wife he doesn't have, children that don't exist. He thinks we're all lost, trapped in his nightmare, and he's trying to wake us up. He's trying to pull us into whatever reality he found in that damned hallway, and I think he's succeeding, I think a part of me wants to go with him. Outpost Sigma 7 went silent shortly after that transmission. Search and rescue found the station intact, adrift, its internal systems powered down. Corridor Gamma 17 was structurally sound, unremarkable. But the bodies of the crew were gone. All except for one. Captain Rostova found at the entrance to the corridor, clutching a data chip. The chip contained her final log, and around her neck she wore a locket with a picture of a smiling man and 2 small children. A family she never had. The hallways we walk define our past, but sometimes a hallway walks us. And when it returns us, it brings back something new, something dull, something profoundly, finely other. This is Cosmic Radio. If you have ever felt a moment of profound disorientation, a brief flicker of a life unlived, or a sudden, unexplained shift in your memory, perhaps you've taken a wrong turn down a corridor not meant for you. Share your experience in the comments below, like and subscribe to keep the signal strong.